We are cutting up a perfectly good Porsche 911 because, well, the world doesn't need more cabriolets, it needs more coupes. In the last video, we chopped the A-pillar, we installed a new roof from a donor Porsche 911. Well, by installed, I mean we made it fit for now, because what we need to do next is we need to make a roll bar to make sure this car is safe for the road. As many of you may know, cutting into the A-pillar of a car does pose some structural concerns in the case of a rollover. So to cover our bases, our plan is to engineer a really stout roll bar that also ties into other major points of the car to make sure that if this car ever does unfortunately roll over, the driver will be safe. First thing we need to do to get this roll bar started is to begin the main hoop. The main hoop is the most important part of the roll bar and has to withstand the most force. Essentially, a roll bar has the main hoop and then rear braces that run back. Now, to make ours extra safe, our braces are gonna go through the firewall and attach way back in here to be extra strong, but we'll go into that later. Something that makes that main hoop really challenging though is that it has to be one piece, one continuous bend to be strong. If there were welds and like cuts in between, those could be potential break points, and we don't want that. So that could be a little extra challenging because if you mess up your bends, that means starting that whole length of tubing all over again, which can get expensive quick. Now, when we started the cage on the drift gear, I used this blue aluminum tubing, which is like the shop air tubing like we have across the ceiling here. This stuff's great because you can bend it and it keeps its shape, so it can kind of mimic a roll bar. So Tony and I already started figuring out our main roll bar shape, at least beginning the roughing of halving it anyway. But before we make the main hoop, we need to start with the base plates. Now the 964s have these little vents here. I believe that they're for like when you open and close the door for the air pressure to balance. The earlier cars did not have these. And in fact, I don't think it's fully necessary for what we're doing with this car. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna weld this hole shut, and then we can have a nice footprint for our base plates. These base plates are gonna be thick plates. They're gonna be welded here, and then we have some sides as well to be extra strong to then weld the main hoop to. Because without them, what could happen is your end of your tubing could punch through the chassis when you roll over, and that wouldn't be great. So you wanna spread out the load here. 105. That'll work. Let's prep the body. All right, the holes are patched. I realize that, yeah, you guys probably think it's redundant to do that and then also put a plate over top. But if I weld that shut, that means it can't crinkle in on itself as easily, so I think it'll be extra strong. There's no harm there in doing that. Next, I'm going to remove these brackets here. They're for the convertible top, and they're kind of in the way. Now that I have the brackets out of the way and I have the holes welded shut, it's time to make some base plates. The idea is to make a shape here that flattens this out, and I'll probably have an edge, I think it's a weld that goes down to weld to make it be extra strong. This will serve as the base plate for the tubing to mount to for the main roll hoop. So before we do anything, let's get some cardboard out and figure out the shape. So that's the rough profile I think we're gonna go for the base plate. But additionally, we're going to add these lower tabs as well to kind of spread the load out to the verticality of the bulkhead here. So I'm gonna go on the computer here. We're gonna throw these into CAD, and then we're gonna cut them out in the plastic cutter, some thicker plates. We'll be good to go. It always starts with a photo. From that to that. Looks good. Let's cut her out. All cut out. Now I'm gonna remove the slag and sandblast them, and then we'll weld them to the car. Kind of forgot I could just pull the roof off to make all of us work easier because the roof doesn't really have to be on until we do the main hoop for making it fit. Anyway, for those who don't know, I'm not a big fan of weld through primer, mainly because I don't like contaminating my welds with anything other than, you know, metal, which is not contamination then. That being said, I only use it in situations where I cannot get to the backside with like epoxy or cavity wax, and this is one of those rare occasions because when I weld these plates in, it's gonna be fully welded the whole way around, and there will not be access for some cavity wax. So I'm gonna use weld through primer. But there's a caveat. My workaround is I'm going to mock these pieces up on top of the car, and then once it's mocked up, I'm going to remove the weld through primer on the edges that you can see, so when I weld it, there's not as much being pulled into the weld. So I'll tack it together, spray down some carb cleaner on the edges, and clean it up, and keep welding. This might be the first weld through primer I used that one was like black and not like a metallic looking color, and two, it actually welded okay. So the base plates are finally welded in. We have a solid base to work off of now for the main hoop. So let's dig into that. So I talked about earlier with this blue tubing and using it for the main hoop. On the Gia, we used it for the uprights running from the main hoop to the front because they're really complex bends, whereas on the main hoop, we used cardboard and a laser. So I got the laser set up here. It's up to dead center across the cowl on the rear parcel shelf back there. So the idea here is to take a piece of cardboard, lay it up at the angle that we want the tube to be at, and then we can trace onto it exactly the profile of the tubing, and then we can measure it and, bend and cut and do all that fun stuff. Hi, Tony.
Hi.
Watch your elbow. Don't bump my laser. See, now we get a laser dead center to help locate.
You like that?
Yep, that's a good spot for the tubing to land, I think. Gotta have room to weld all the way around it, so.
And this is 2 inches, so it's slightly oversized.
Everything we're doing here is gonna be center line. This is the die that we're gonna use to bend the tubing. What's nice about the dies is this edge here is the center line for the bend. So far we're marking the center line of the tubing. I can match this up now to that center line, and then we can get where the bend starts and finishes. And what's gonna look like. And it'll be precise. About 450. So this is a little stressful. We have a length here of 1/8 inch wall, 1 3/4 tubing to, that was probably very disorienting to watch on the camera. So the way our bender works though, is we have these blocks. We have to clamp them onto the tubing at a certain distance. So this is dead center of our tubing. We decided to do a very minute bend dead center of the roll bar to kind of hug the roof a little bit better. This was by request of the customer. So the way this works is we need to have the block 6 inches off of the beginning of the bend. Now this is a 4-degree bend. I'm gonna go 6 inches, will be here. So I have the block clamped down. Now what gets scary is we're gonna have multiple bends into one big piece of tubing that is not very cheap. And if we mess up a bend by overbending it, we have to scrap it and start all over. So we'll see if we do this on our first try. The Gia we did it on our first try, so I'm feeling pretty good. Maybe a little too overconfident.
That's always a issue.
Yeah. Hey, don't like whack anything with your like giant javelin. I don't appreciate this. We're zeroed. Let's see how this goes. Now, when you bend tubing, you get what's called spring back, because you have to bend it past, because then it springs back to the actual amount. For this machine, to do spring back calculation, basically we just loosen it until the tubing resets, put it back, crank it back until it's under tension again, and then we just subtract the difference. And I'll know it's loose when this pin's loose. There. So it's about 2.5 degrees spring back. So that means for this smaller bend anyway, I have to go 2.5 degrees past to get the right bend angle.
We need video evidence of that.
Evidence of what?
You working?
Listen, this guy shows up for another partial video to help me with the big tube.
You're welcome.
You're gonna get whacked. You feel good about that, Tony?
I mean, I didn't take the measurement, so.
Yeah. I feel pretty good.
I mean, it's just a question of weight ratios. All right, so this bender is really nice because it bends up, which means you're not running it into things in the shop, unless those things are heater ducts and beams.
And lights, apparently.
And lights.
All right, so we gotta move this thing, I guess.
Or we could just change our design to have a 45-degree bend here instead of a 70-degree bend here.
Go away, Ryan. Hey, you're hitting the heater duct. You're crushing my glasses. It's okay, I don't actually need them to see, unlike some people.
Not yet. We need 5 more degrees.
Oh no! There's 2 options now. You're at a crossroads. Do we take it off the table or do we poke a hole in the ceiling?
I don't want to do either one. It's heavy without a piece of tubing in it.
This is the guy who makes fun of me for like wanting air conditioning and not having to move things.
Yeah. Yep, that's gonna tip.
How about we go get Amos so we get 3 people on it and we'll lift it off.
All right, let's do that.
Bend's done. We'll pull it out, flip the block to the other side, and rinse and repeat. Hey, don't hit that gas line.
Yeah.
Our 2 main bends in the corner here are both great. They're symmetrical, and they're what we want them to be. So now we're gonna do the last bends, which are these little elbows here and over there, to bring them together. Then we'll have these ginormous tails left over because I get scared and want to have a lot of extra material just in case.
So that we can run into the ceiling.
That too. Yeah, we really did oversize this, didn't we? And like height-wise. So now I gotta figure out how long to cut it.
Yep. That's the
And the angle to cut the end.
That's even worse.
Okay. Let's see if it fits. So we got that main roll hoop tacked into the car just for mock-up, and well, we decided that we didn't like it. Having that single bump in the center It ended up being not prominent enough and not curving with the roof as we liked. So we went back to the drawing board, and the next morning we worked on making a new design, and then I went to bend it, and well, this happened. The block slid back mid-bend. That's what happened. So after dealing with that situation, I hopped back on it and I bent this, and now we have a roll bar that I think will work. So we ended up wanting 2 bumps in the center of the roll bar to let it curve with the roof a little bit nicer. Due to that, we had to redo the roll bar, as you guys saw, which took up a lot of time, which means we ran out of time to do the supports like we planned to. Now, the rest of the tubing that's involved here is going to be a little bit more complex than previous tubing we've done on this channel, and you're gonna see why soon. I'm stoked on the progress that we made this week, and I can't wait to make more on this car and other cars in the shop. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week. And as always, thank you for hanging in the shop with us.